The growing threat from Iran's short-range missile program was a key motivation for changing the U.S. approach to missile defense. President Obama and the Defense Department responded Thursday, announcing the U.S. will restructure current plans to build a missile defense system in Eastern Europe and begin deploying missile interceptors on U.S. Navy ships by 2011.
This gives us some capability very soon. The other alternative gave us no capability until later in the decade. So if there were going to be a breakout scenario, we would have no hedge before 2017, 2018 with the original program that I approved in December of '06.
Secretary Gates said the new plan will cost less, provide additional coverage, and allow the U.S. to take advantage of new technologies. An Army sergeant awarded the Medal of Honor who died in combat trying to save a fallen comrade was inducted Friday into the Pentagon's Hall of Heroes. Family, friends, and colleagues attended the ceremony for Sergeant First Class Jared Monti. He died in June 2006 after his platoon was ambushed by the Taliban in the mountains of Afghanistan. He was 30 years old when he died and was assigned to the 10th Mountain Division out of Fort Drum, New York.
No one who knew Jared was surprised by his actions. The family that nurtured him, the friends who grew up with him, the soldiers who learned from him all say the same thing. Selflessness and service were the themes written on every page and throughout every chapter of Jared's life.
President Obama awarded Sergeant Monti the Medal of Honor posthumously to his parents on Thursday. You can learn more about Sergeant Monti in the latest edition of This Week in the Pentagon, which debuts Friday. Hundreds gathered at the Pentagon earlier on Friday to mark POW MIA Recognition Day, including Defense Secretary Robert Gates. Among those also there was Jeremiah Denton, who was a prisoner of war in Vietnam for nearly 8 years. The self-proclaimed Second Lady of the United States commended 15 employers who, despite tough economic times, went above and beyond what the law requires to support their military employees. Dr. Jill Biden spoke at this year's Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve Freedom Award dinner Thursday night in Washington, D.C. Participating companies take extra steps like extending pay to deployed personnel and continuing health and education benefits to service members and their families.
And in this era when so much is being asked of the Guard and Reserve, you have been a source of strength, relieving some of the burden of stress on the loved ones left behind.
3 of this year's recipients organized deployment and welcome home events, sent care packages to employees, and initiated clothing and toy drives for children in Iraq. For a complete list of this year's award winners, head to defense.gov. Coming up next on Around the Services, Band of Brothers. We'll introduce you to 2 Air Force siblings reunited after years apart. But first, 100 days, a report from the ground on the Marine offensive in the volatile Helmand province in Afghanistan. Stick around, Staff Sergeant Josh Hauser is back with more.